Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MTS Talks. And to get us started, I'm pleased to welcome a good friend of mine at MTS, the Managing Director for Travel from Google, Rob Torres. Rob travels around the world talking about innovation in travel from the Google perspective. For today's talk, I challenge Rob not to mention the word Google during his presentation. Let's see how he does.
Thanks. Good evening, everyone, and thanks to Mike and Bruce for having me back. I honestly got to say that when I get this invitation yearly, I immediately raise my hand and say, sign me up as quickly as possible, because after coming to here for probably about 10 years, it's obviously one of the greatest group of people doing some of the greatest things that you can imagine. And I oversee all of travel, but coming back home to MTS is really something that I look forward to encounter every single year. But as Bruce just said, when he called me and said this year, he said, we're going to do this something a little bit different. Let's see if you can handle us. And he said, you know, we're going to have you do these 7 to 10 minute tech talks, but for you, I want you to talk about innovation, but I don't want you to mention the company you worked for once. I thought, well, that's what people actually come and ask me to talk about. So this is going to be interesting. But I said, absolutely, why not? One thing he didn't say was, you can't wear any of your company's technology or display prominently the logo of that company that you work for. So here we go. So I'm going to talk quickly a little bit about technology. And as I thought about innovation and technology and what's happening in the world today, I titled this, The Future of Travel is Not Digital. And you might be thinking, what is he talking about? He works for one of the biggest technology companies out there. But let me tell you what I mean. When you think about travel and when you travel, do you think about your research process? Do you think about the hotel you're staying in? Do you think about the plane you're staying in? What is most important? It's about the experience of going to a new place, experience of discovering a new culture, finding a new run, which I'm sure many of you are going to do tomorrow morning, and I'm glad this is happening now and not tomorrow morning, because there would be nobody there. But it's all about the experience. It's not about how you plan for it or how you book it. It's what you do while you're there. And I had to shamelessly plug, this year my family came with me, and we've been here the last couple of days skiing and enjoying an experience. None of us had been to Breckenridge before, and literally we got to experience firsthand what it was like to ski Breckenridge, but to travel here as a family. And I think that's what the experience of travel is all about. And the future of innovation is really all about trying to improve that experience. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely believe that what's happened with technology digitally today has changed and made it much easier to plan travel. And there's some great companies that are doing things out there today. For one, Brand USA, and I know they've been here, a few folks have been here for the conference this year. But you think about planning a road trip. They've done a great job on their side of planning a trip from, say, San Francisco to Breckenridge. They've got mapping technology that shows you where to go. You can upload your trip through Facebook and you can tweet it. You can share songs about your trip. Do all of these things that you couldn't do before. You certainly couldn't do it back in the day when you'd plan a trip and you'd have to go to your local AAA office and get your trip tag. But again, not necessarily game-changing, but certainly making travel experience much easier. You think about what hotels are doing. You think about the information that they have, today, the amount of data, connectivity, all this information that we have about people, and they're just starting to utilize some of that information. If I think about now when I go and stay at my normal Westin hotel, they do know about me because I've stayed there 56 times. They are literally, pre-choosing the room that I like, the pillow I like. They've stopped asking me, do I want a bottle of wine or extra points? They know I'm a boozer and get the wine open in the room and the glass poured before I get there. And it took many times, but it happens, right? They're finally learning, and it's all information that they have about me, but they're starting to use it. They're starting to, tweet me offers when I'm there on my device that are more relative to what I'd want based on preferences they've seen. But again, I don't know if that's game-changing. It's certainly helping my experience, making it better, but not necessarily game-changing. Airlines, too, not necessarily big advancers in technology, but they're starting to get there a little bit. American now is arming a lot of their flight attendants with these tablets that have information about you, all the passengers on the board. And certainly with their frequent flyers, they know a lot about you, what drinks you order, where you're going, what's your destination, where you may be going to next. and they can actually service you much better. But I would argue all three of these things are interesting, and they've actually helped improve our overall travel experience, but it isn't really game-changing, because literally all of these things require access to devices, et cetera, to actually help make this experience better. And what I see the future is actually not having to arm yourself with those informations, but actually that information basically just comes to you. Now, what do I mean by this? Airline, same thing. This is Virgin Atlantic. They're now arming their flight folks with devices like this. It has all that same information that was found on that tablet, but now this gal can have a conversation one-on-one with you without ever losing eye contact, because she can access all that information about you right here. Like I can look at this at Bruce and say, Bruce, LinkedIn pulls all the information. I know exactly what's happening. I never have to lose eye contact, but I know exactly what's coming down the pike. The same thing with Disney. How many of you have kids and have taken a Disney vacation? Raise your hand. Okay, is that a magical experience? I would argue absolutely not. Because I've taken my kids, the 9 and 11-year-old, and I'm telling you, the first thing is we got to figure out which fast passes we're going to get to, and who's going to run where to get those, and which character breakfasts, and how do you make a reservation for that, and who's got the key to the room, and oh, I had it last, but now I've lost it. These magic bands that basically have all of that information that you wear. It's your room key, it's all of your fast pass in one, it takes pictures, it loads, it has all of your currency all in one place. So absolutely enhancing the experience without you having to do anything or access anything or have your mobile phone with you to actually take pictures, etc. Suunto has also done some cool things on the ski. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with this. It's literally tracking, the GPS tracking, making your ski experience much better and tracking some of the elevation that you've gained, etc., tracking where your folks and friends are on the slopes, etc. Again, making the experience much better with you actually having to really dig in and do something to make a difference. The other company that's done quite a good job of this is GoPro. Think about it. In the past, if you were going to want to take a video of your friends and family skiing or yourself or whatever, you literally have to carry along a video camera or your cell phone or your old flip camera, take it out of your pocket, stop, take everything down, find it all, don't drop it, get it going, to get that video going. Now you don't have to do that, right? GoPro just makes it easy. Easy to make the experience enhanced, but without really having to do something to make it happen. And I think, we're starting to learn, and a lot of companies are really, really taking this to heart. If you think about what this device does and how now I can access so much information without ever looking down or looking away from somebody, a lot of people are now developing applications that will live on this that actually will enhance any experience. This is just one. It's a translation experience that this company has developed that basically allows me to translate anything on the fly. So obviously this is a ski reference, but if I'm skiing in France and I don't speak French and I ski up to this sign and I have no idea what it means, I'm about ready to go over, my glass will tell me, avalanche, watch out. I may still choose to go for it, but at least now I know, right? And so it's really changing the way folks think about how they're basically experiencing the world around them. I think this was a great example too of, this is I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the Oakley Airwave goggles, but again, they're bringing in a lot of that technology in one place. Everyone wears goggles, right? A lot of people would carry, their iPad or their something with music, navigation, you'd have your cell phone, all of that, but they put it all in one place. So again, you don't have to access all of these different things to actually experience what you want to experience on the slopes. Again, making it much easier, improving the overall experience without taking away from the experience itself. And what I wanted to end with here is just really, we are just at the cusp of where this all is going, if you think about it. I just read it, within 5 years, a lot of what is available right here will be available in contact lens form. Think about that. All of this stuff will be activated through voice activation. The voice activation will get better and better based on learning your preferences and what you've done in the past. Think about, when you're thinking about developing content for whatever you do, thinking about these devices and what people are going to be utilizing them for. If you really think about it, that experience I talked about, travel is all about the experience. It's going to be made much, much better when we have these type of access to information with us at all times, but without having to actually lean in and get it and carry all these multi-devices. I'm not saying that multi-device activity is going away, but I'm saying it's going to become much, much easier for us to experience what we want to experience without stuff getting in the way of that experience. And I really think true innovation is when we use this digital technology to make travel experience better, but it doesn't get into the way of the experience that we want to enjoy overall. And I want to end with a quick video, which I have 9 seconds, so I'm doing pretty good here. A quick video that kind of shows, this came out a little bit about some of the potential future, and this isn't ski reference, but this is overall day in the life of somebody using some of this technology. So let's see. Do I do anything?
What does that?
Just got a jellyfish warning.
Tri-County?
Let's go to Zuma.
Morning, kids. Reply, be there in 2.
There it is. Okay, Google, what's the Syracuse score? Yay! Woo!
Okay, Google, open garage.